All right, let's straighten this up. And I think we're live. Welcome to another episode of the It's Her Business Show. My name is Eva Palakova. I'm a business coach, executive coach for entrepreneurs, and I'm so happy to be here with you for another installment on unbelievable content that is designed to take your business to the next level. So today we're going to be talking about ways to book your consult calendar. I'm going to be sharing with you 10 ways to do that. So as everybody is joining, we're going to give everybody a minute. I just want to take a pause and chat a little bit about mindset before we dive in, because this is definitely an interesting week. Things are going to happen, and I just want to address that. We can't dive into the strategy and tactics without talking about the elephant in the room. So here's what's so. We have the election going on, and there's going to be a lot happening this week. And by the way, as you join, please say hi. Let me know where you're joining from. I'm going to be watching the comments. I can't wait. Hello. I can't wait to. By the way, if you're watching this through StreamYard on Facebook, make sure to click the link above so that I can see your name. Because otherwise, I just see things like Facebook user says hi, and I don't know who it is. So make sure you click the name and let me know you're here. So excited to be here with you guys and enjoy this next half hour together. So let's dive in. We have a very interesting week ahead of us. Now, as you guys know, for some of you who have been watching me for a while, you know that there's things that are important to me and there's things that are not. And I think for us who are coaches and spiritual teachers and life coaches and consultants, what's more important to us is the love and serving our clients, less so than our political affiliations. So what's going to happen is this week, you're going to see a lot of positionalities. You're going to see a lot of opinions out there. And there's going to be a lot of pressure to feel one way or another. Just recognize that it is in our human nature to agree and disagree, to do our shoulds and our shouldn'ts, to have a positionality, to make wrong. And that's just in the human nature. That's the human condition, right? So, however, as leaders in our communities, as coaches and teachers, I think this is the week for us to really take a step back and really look at how can I serve my community? How can I up-level their frequency? How can I support them through what's going on? Okay. For example, I run a group program where probably half the people in there are on the liberal side and probably half the people on there on the conservative side. And it has nothing to do with their level of consciousness or, hi, Kelly, so good to see you. Oh my goodness. It has nothing to do with the level of consciousness or education or anything like that. It's just the context that we're coming from. So show up the best as you can in your community. Don't assume that people are one way or another, and just recognize that love is so much more important than anything out there. And I think what souls and people are yearning for right now is just the love and, going beyond the divisionality and going beyond the positionalities of the ego. So this is a really, I think this is a week of opportunity to show up as loving as we possibly can for each other, support one another, no matter what the result is, because it is always for the highest good and for our growth in the community. And so this is the week to show up as loving as you possibly can, especially in the Facebook groups that you guys lead, especially in your weekly live show, whatever it is. To not add to the collective divisionality, to not add to the positionalities, to not add to the make wrong, however justified it feels, but to really leave from a place of we're one family. We're so much more than our political affiliation. There's so much more to us than that. So just, recognize your clients are from all different spectrum, and I'm here to support you in whatever shape or form. I love having these conversations. I have a lot of people coming to me and saying, yeah, I feel this way, and I've never said this to anybody. I'm voting for such and such, and it's not okay to say this publicly. So, and you know how that goes. And that's that's what's happening. So just, here's everything is safe. On our team alone, it's our business. Jay and Selena and I, we're just, we're all over the place, politically. Jay and I are on the far end of the spectrum from each other, right? And that is okay too. All right, so that's about that. It's going to be an interesting week, whichever way it goes. And for me, there's just curiosity. Like, there's just curiosity. Like, I wonder, like, which way is the country is going to evolve? Like, what is our next spiritual opportunity? And 2020 has been extremely interesting and exciting year in terms of what we have been asked to let go of, what we have been asked to reconsider, like the constant new normals that have showed up for us. But also there has been unbelievable opportunities for us who are online entrepreneurs. Our businesses have exploded. There has been so much opportunities, and this week is no different. This is where people really need the support. This is where the emotions are going to be running really high, guys, right? And if you're a life coach, if you're a healer, if you're a consultant, if you're a therapist, this is an enormous opportunity to show up and serve as much as you possibly can and be authentic to who you are. All right. So I just want to remind you, like, what an opportunity is to be alive right now in 2020, and what a blessing is to be an online entrepreneur like we are. What a blessing is to have Zoom and to have Facebook Live and to have all these tools that we wouldn't have had even like 10 years ago if whatever's happening now happened. All right. So it's an amazing time. There's a lot to be grateful for, even if it doesn't look like that in the moment. Okay. So that's about that. Today, we're going to focus on the 10 ways to drive consults on your calendar. Everybody ready to take notes? Type in ready. I'm going to give you some practical ideas. I'm so excited about this. And we're going to mix some strategy and some tactics as well. As you guys know me, I like to mix the mindset and the strategy and tactics all together all the time. So let's dive in. As you think about getting consults on your calendar, I want you to have some things in mind. Number one, in order to get business, in order for you to generate steady flow of clients, you have to absolutely have. Hi, Stephanie. So good to see you. It's absolutely necessary to have 3 to 5 consults on your calendar on average every single week. Yes, there's going to be weeks you have 2. There's going to be weeks that you have 8. But in order for you to reach multi-6 figures, 6 figures and multi-6 figures, you absolutely must make sure that you're talking to 3 to 5 people individually on the phone every single week. I want you to write this down. I want you to circle it. I want you to have this be your main goal up until you get to at least $150,000 a year in revenue. Okay. This has got to be something you're managing your calendar to, your team to, everything you're doing to, because when you talk to people, you're going to have clients. If you don't talk to people, you're not going to have clients. All the other stuff that you're doing, all this working on the content and working on your program, working on the modules, recording the videos, that's all nice. But the main thing is talking to people, closing them into becoming clients. Does this make sense to everybody? Give me a yes if you're getting this. And I just, out of curiosity, how many of you guys there? And feel free to share in the chat, like, how many of you are there already, or how many of you are still working towards that. It is totally okay when you're first starting out. Many people think it's going to take, like, I'm going to put some social media posts out there. People are just going to sign up. It's not quite like that. Many of us feel like a break wall. We're like, oh, wait, business isn't just coming from social media and blog posts and this and that. I actually have to go out there and find my clients. So that's the first thing that I want you to be managing to 3 to 5 consults on your calendar every single week. Feel free to mess it up as many times, but it doesn't matter, because the people you're talking to today, even if it's a no, they could become a client a year later. Okay? You never know what's going to happen. I was just thinking about this. I was just this weekend, I was spending a couple hours working on my book. And I was thinking about the very first speaking engagements that I did years ago in Daring Divas in Boulder, okay? And I was in a room in front of 30 people, and I was just like preparing and shaking. I had like all my cheat sheets, memorizing everything. I did a call to action. I had a bunch of people sign up for a free consult with me. Nobody became a client right then and there. But right now, there is 2 clients in my group program who came out of that presentation back then. And that's $20,000 revenue right there. So just like think about that. It's not now that they're convert, but maybe later when the time is right. Okay. So there is 3 things, and write this down, and somebody put it in a chat. There is 3 things I want you to keep in mind when you're creating your consult strategy. Number 1 is the inspiration. Okay. The inspiration, somebody put in a chat, I for inspiration. It's going to be 3 I's: inspiration, invitation, and incentive. Okay. Inspiration, invitation, and incentive. So before you invite anybody into consult, there absolutely has to be inspiration. When you make invitation without an inspiration, people are not going to want to take you up on the offer. Why? They don't feel excited. They don't feel drawn. They don't have this strategy. They don't understand why. Okay. What happens, you guys, is that, and this is happening. You get these like offers in your DM with like links to products to buy, and there's absolutely no context. There's no inspiration. There's no education before. So the inspiration has to be there. Now, a couple things about that. There is a lot of how-to content. There's a lot of 3-step content. There's a lot of 3 myths content out there. It is no longer enough. It is no longer enough to rely on the how-to content for inspiration. Okay? There needs to be hope, leadership, inspiration. There needs to be an entrainment to your energy. There needs to be you lifting people constantly up, as well as giving them the how-to content. So that's the number 1, is the inspiration. Okay? So you go and teach and serve and lead and inspire. And this is a transformation you will go through as a leader and a speaker and an online teacher. I was just writing about this in my book, guys. I had this story when I was in my MBA program at University of Texas. We had this project that we were doing for American Airlines, and we were supposed to design their social media strategy and whatnot, right? And we were supposed to present it to one of the managers in the marketing department. So there were 5 of us making a presentation as a team of 5 MBAs, whatever, making a presentation to one person in the corporate. And I will tell you, I had like a 5-minute spiel, and this is like very inconsequential. Okay. I was so nervous about that presentation. I went online and ordered Valium on the black market from India so that I could calm myself down. I was somebody who would not raise my hand during the classes pretty much ever. And I did not get the point of participation, and I did not get the A's because I was so scared that I would say something stupid and would look stupid and blah, 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 that, I just couldn't do that. So that's somebody that I was, okay? Wherever you are with your leadership, with your skills around presentation, inspiring people, getting them into action, wherever you are right now is completely fine. It's where you are. This is why we own businesses, because it's a journey of transformation. I see some eyes in the chat. Awesome. Okay. So now, wherever you are is perfect. The important thing is that you take this on for the whole next year, and you develop yourself as somebody who is more powerful, more impactful, who can make more difference, okay? Learning how to grab and hold attention is going to be a very, very crucial skill to develop. I'm always working on this. I'm always developing myself as a teacher so that I can deliver clear content, have more impact, and get people into more action so that they can get the results. Okay, that's a skill that I will never stop developing. I've come a long way, and I have very, very long way to go. When I speak, there's a bunch of ums and ahs and so's, and it's not very clean. It's very imperfect, and that's okay. The way you get there, though, is by doing it, and always standing at I was just explaining this to a client on Friday. You don't want to freak yourself out and go on a stage in front of 300 people if you're nervous, okay? You want to be in a mildly uncomfortable zone as frequently as you can. Not like a freak out zone, but like a discomfort zone in which the transformation happens, okay? So you want to always push yourself a little bit in the skill set. So that's the inspiration. Then the invitation. Okay, so you teach and lead, and then you invite people to take the next step with you. So many of you are teaching and leading so much. However, the invitation isn't there or isn't there frequently enough whenever you go live or whenever you teach, whenever you get on Zoom, whenever you record those videos. So there's the inspiration, but the invitation is missing. Making sure you always have these two matching. And for some of you guys, it's a reminder, but it's like reflect, okay, have I been making enough invitations and have I been sharing myself, unreservedly and teaching and leading and all these things, right? And then this third I is for incentive, okay? So you always have to have some reason for people to take action now and not wait 1, 2, 3, 4 months down the road. As you guys know, like one of the tools that we use is always raising our prices. We have never not raised the price of our program. Never not. Ever since we launched QLE, it has been month after month. Every single month we have raised it, and every single month we will continue raising it, because it is incentive for people who are ready to kind of get off the fence and jump down, not like 6 months down the road kind of thing. Does it always work? No. But a lot of cases, it really helps people make the decision, okay? You want to have a little bit of scarcity. You want to have a little bit of urgency, because that's how we operate as human beings, okay? And as marketers, we want to understand that. People are like, well, that's manipulative, but that's okay. You're manipulating people to say yes to themselves. What's wrong with that? Okay, so inspiration, invitation, and intensive. So I would just like to take a pause. Are you guys getting something out of this? Put a yes in the chat. By the way, for those of you guys who joined late, I would love to know where you're joining us from. Put in a chat. I want to know, we have people from all over the world on our platforms. I'd love to know where you're joining us from. What's we have people from the UK, we have people from South Africa, we have people from Australia in the group, we have, lots of people from all over the US. So let me know where you're joining me from. I'm in Boulder, Colorado now, anyway. Probably going to be traveling over to the Czech Republic for Christmas, and then after that to Florida. But as you guys know, I like to travel quite a bit. But anyway, so, and as a recap so far, we, as you guys are typing, as a recap so far, we covered the 3 I's: the inspiration, the invitation, the intensive. So now I'd like to get a little bit tactical for a second and give you the specific 9 or 10 ways to get those consults booked on the calendar. And then we're going to zoom out for the last 5 minutes of it and go into more of a strategic strategy. That's, getting a little lost in my words. It's Monday morning and I have not had enough coffee. But anyway, so the 10 ways to fill your calendar. Let's start there. Number 1 is exactly what I'm doing right here, right now. Go live, deliver good content, and then invite people to jump on a call with you. Okay? So, there's some, hang on, can you guys hear me well? I feel like there's some people joining me who can't really hear me for whatever reason. Well, okay. I don't know. Instagram is being strange, but whatever. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. So, all right. So the 10 ways. Number 1 is what we're doing right here, right now. And that is teaching, doing your weekly live show, inviting people into discovery session. Okay. Number 2 is social media posts. Set the time every single week to design a campaign and put it all over your social media. Instagram stories, put it on Facebook, your business page, your group, your LinkedIn, whatever you have. You're not going to get a huge amount, just to be completely honest about this. The social media posts are going to give you 1 or 2 here and there. It's still going to be a good amount, but it's not the main way. Okay. Number 3 is emails. If you have an email list, designing a campaign roughly every 2 or 3 weeks and sending out an invitation for people to take you up on an offer to get with you on the phone. Okay, so that's number 3, emails. Okay, number 4, and that's honestly the most effective way. The most effective way is direct message, DM. Okay. It is So effective because you're actually asking for it. Okay. You tell people, hey, like, I would love the opportunity to chat with you and strategize and have a clarity call with you, blah, blah, blah. Okay. People kind of need the invitation because you know how it is. Like we tell you guys, hey, we're opening 20-minute consults. But a lot of people have imposter syndrome about it. A lot of people don't want to bother us. A lot of people don't want to impose on our time, blah, blah, blah. I'm not ready to buy and yada, yada, yada. Why would I want to take your time kind of thing? So it is not that people don't want to talk to you. Is that they need to be invited and they need to be felt comfortable. And you kind of need to take the pressure off. Okay, and tell them, hey, yes, you're not required to be a client, and I would love to talk to you regardless, and move that relationship forward and serve you and show up for you. Okay, so that's number 4, super, super important. Number 5 is speaking engagements / webinars. So, you're speaking, whether it's happening online or offline. This is a huge strategy for us. I go teach for the International Coach Federation. I deliver different speaking engagements. At least once or twice a month, I like to go teach for different organizations. I invite people into a consult. They schedule a consult with me. Either they become a client or they become a part of my community, and they get nurtured more and served more until they become a client. It's very, very simple. Okay, it's an extremely effective strategy. So what you want to do is find the niche groups that are in your industry, the people that you want to connect with, go do presentations for them, and teach. And in the last 5 minutes, you're going to deliver an offer to get on the phone with you. I hope that makes sense. Okay. Number 6 is podcast guesting and podcast exchanges. Now, there is a couple ways to go about it. It's the audience that you're speaking to, but it's almost like I don't really like to do the call to action to invite them into consult because it feels a little bit too early for me. However, guess who is going to be the most likely to become a client? Is the podcast host. All right. What happens is when you're talking to the podcast, and some people have this energy, really just focus on the podcast host, because when you're doing the podcast outreach, reaching out to people, hey, I want to be a guest on your show, you literally can use this strategy just to get those podcast hosts into your program, because you're building the relationship. You're not just talking to their audience, but you're talking to the host, and that's super, super, super important. And then you're turning into a consult, and you're going to be on their show. They might be on your show. You're developing that relationship, and before you know it, they're a client. This happened to one of our clients. I was a guest in her chapter that I was speaking for, and we developed a relationship, and she started asking me about the program and, and pricing and whatever. I didn't even pitch her, and then she became a client. Okay. So that's one of those strategies. So podcast exchanges, then social media exchanges. So you guys have all kinds of different Facebook groups, right? And audiences. And you can do exchanges with one another and say, hey, can I go on your show? You go on mine, we talk about what we do. And again, like, you're not just pitching to each other's audiences, it could be the hosts themselves that might become a client, okay? Because that's the person you're going to get closest to, okay? So that's number 7. Number 8. A lot of you do networking still, even though we're in an online space. A lot of you do some kind of online networking and, meet and greets and Zoom and whatnot. When you have those connect calls with people, the networking sessions, do take it a step further and make sure that you're inviting the person you're on the phone with, you're building the relationship with at the end, if you feel like it's a good fit, to actually do a consult or a clarity session or strategy session or roadmap session or a blueprint session. All right. So, the networking call itself, right? That is not to pitch anybody. That is to really listen. What are they dealing with? How is business or life or whatever going for them? Listen and build that relationship. So then you can then turn around and serve them. Okay. So the connect sessions are a super, super, super important strategy. If you do a connect call, like you use it, take some notes. Be qualifying your prospects. Not everybody is going to be a client. Okay. Like, for people, like for us people, for example, people who have worked with coaches before, especially people who worked with mindset coaches, business coaches, we know they're in the right mindset because that's the kind of investing they do. Okay. There's lots of people who don't, who are still in the DIY mindset, whatever. There's nothing wrong with that. But we know if somebody already has a coach, okay, or somebody has had a coach before, like for us, that's not a deterrent. Like, oh, somebody was a coach, they don't need us. No, it's quite the contrary. It's somebody who's in the mindset of investing, who understands, like, to get the ROI, I need to invest in myself continuously, right? So you're also qualifying. You're asking the right questions. If they've never invested with a coach and they're not in a mindset, they don't even understand, like, coaching packages cost like a minimum of $3,000-$4,000, and you're like, oh yeah, I charge $6,000 or whatever. Like, there's going to be, like, it's a long road. Mindset is everything. Okay. Mindset in your space is so much, and you don't want to be talking to like everybody with the wrong mindset. There's people who do have the mindset already. I would say, like, US more than other countries, like, understand investing into self and like the whole thing around, like, we're here to transform, and like, why spend money on these things when you can actually spend money on being a happier, a person who lives in alignment with their purpose, right? So not every culture understands that. Not every culture is that there from evolution standpoint. There's a lot of cultures who's like, oh my gosh, life coaching, what does it mean? Like, that just seems like a scam. Like, that, like, in some of the countries you guys come from, that's the mindset that you have to deal with. And all the more you need to be kind of qualifying people when you're on those connect calls with them to get to where their mindset is at. So you're not wasting, like, bringing somebody from a mindset of like, want to do it all on their own and whatever, and taking all these free trainings into like a serious client. Like, that's a long, long, long journey. Okay. So you want to qualify the mindset. This is making sense, guys. I'm curious if you guys are relating when I am talking about the mindset, if this is like ringing a bell for you. Okay. Okay. Connect session was number 8. Number 9, strategy. We have 2 more strategies to go. Then we're going to zoom out for a second again. So pre-workshop prep. We offer a specific 15-minute strategy calls before our Serve Method retreat every single time. And we do this because we want people to be ready, but we also want to serve them, and we also want to build that relationship. Because at some point in the Serve Method retreat, we open a door to our program. And you guys know this, like, it typically happens in session 4 or whatever. And, the people we already have the relationship with kind of know, like, okay, do I like the energy of these people? Do I want to work with them? Now it's just like figure out the details and financials and whatever you have. Okay. So we want to have as many personal relationships. We want to serve people before we ever ask them to do business with us. It's like a relationship building. Okay. And kind of what happens is, like, and I talk about this. This is what the whole Serve Method is about, like serving people before you ever ask them for anything. And you are allowed to receive when you do that. It always, always, always comes back to you. So whether your calls are like clear consult, where you're like really focusing on selling, or it's a strategy call that is really focused on just serving, or it's a connect call, doesn't really matter as long as your heart is like, okay, I'm going to serve this person. And if it's the right fit, I trust that, we'll continue working together. It's not so much, guys, the more you give up, the attachment to the outcome, the more effective you're going to be. The more you're going there from a heart of service, and I'm not saying like overgive and give them a ton of homework, not that, right? But the more you go into it from a heart of service and release attachment to an outcome, the more effective you're going to be. It's when I get myself in the mindset, gotta get clients, gotta close clients, gotta pay my bills, yada, yada, yada. the less effective I am. It's like a true and genuine, like coming, like, okay, I really, really love serving these people. I'm like kind of excited. Like, who's the next group of people I get to serve, right? Like, who's the next group of people that is going to wind up in my program? It's always like a really, really exciting journey. Okay. So the pre-workshop prep is another idea. Mini coaching sessions. You can open the door once in a while. You don't want to do this every single week, but you want to open the door every single while to a very specialized coaching session. Like once in a while, Jen, myself, and Selena will do like a week of coaching sessions around your specific method that you're teaching. Once in a while, we'll open 15-minute brainstorm sessions around the name of your tribe or whatever it is, like a very just laser focused kind of coaching on a specific topic that that people need help with. Now, again, like you're not using the 15 minutes to sell. Number one, you would not be effective because you don't know enough about the client. And number two, you would not have the relationships because you just didn't serve them. And you're asking for, for some of you guys, a year-long commitment to work with somebody. In a 15-minute session, it's just not going to happen. Number three is, to actually have an effective sales conversation, you need to schedule additional time and chat about that. Okay. So that's 10 of the top ways that we have used. And there is other, right? There's like meetups and all the other stuff that happens when you're, when there's no COVID going on and so on. Okay. But don't forget, there has to be the inspiration and there has to be the invitation. Both need to be there. Okay. You need to inspire the heck out of the people, continue giving them valuable content, and then extend the invitation and work with them. Okay. The more you serve, the more you receive. There's a lot of our clients that try to do a 3-day challenges and a 5-day challenges and a 2-day challenges, and that are not effective. They're straight up not effective. Okay. And some of you guys have done that and you know what the results were. And I will tell you, every time like for us, it's reciprocity. We give you guys so much and we build trust and we serve, and then we extend an invitation. Okay. Our next serve method retreat is 7 days long. We're going to serve you for 7 days of unbelievable content and teaching. Why is this? Every time we try to skip, every time we try to cut the corners, every time we try to take out the different pillars, every time we try to like make it easy and serve less, and the results are not like, let's say if I cut our retreat or challenge into 3.5 days instead of 7 to 10, it's not that I'm going to be getting 50% of the results. It's probably going to be more than 25% of the results. Okay. Every time you cut the corner on something, every time you say, I'm not going to show up in my full energy, I'm not going to this is too much work, blah, 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 blah. Every time you kind of like do that thing and you try to, and what we're all like buying into, right? Like the automation and blah, 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 and online courses and all that stuff. And how is that working out for everybody? It's not, right? Because it's like, when you don't show up fully and when you don't take people to where they need to be to make that decision, to have that trust, for them to already have results, for them to already see that what you're teaching is actually working. Okay. Like if you don't invest time and effort into taking them there and you try to skip this and skip that and cut it down and, you're going to make some money. You're not going to be able to charge what you need to charge. And they're not going to be, if you can't commit to them for a week, you can't ask them to commit for a year. You know what I mean? Like, I think about this like all the time. Like, yeah, do we have shorter formats that we teach our clients? Yeah, but I'm like, well, just like, know that the results are just not going to be what you are hoping for. Because like you're asking somebody for a 10,000 year-long commitment. You can expect them to make the commitment when you show up for 2 days or 3-day challenge or whatever you have, right? So just consider that it's not your lack of effectiveness. Is it that the reciprocity has not been built? Okay. The reciprocity is huge when it comes to serving. I hope this is another thing that, is kind of making sense to you. And it's like, okay, maybe it's opening some of the reasons why you haven't been so effective because you just did not connect and you were not willing to go there full out for your people. Does that make sense? Like, give me like yes, or like, you know, a light bulb. If like there's something like getting clear for you right here, I'd love to know. Okay. So those are the 10 different ways. And I want to zoom out for a second for the last 5 minutes. And I want to focus on strategy yet again. We just did the 10 tactical steps. Let's focus on strategy, because what I see, what I've been observing is a lot of confusion and people launching multiple programs at multiple price points, having many different offerings. You know, we have a package of 3 coaching sessions, 5 coaching sessions, 10, and a group program, and this and that. And it is very confusing for the people. And a confused mind always says no, okay? Confused mind always says no. That's just what it is. So it's a strategy of 1 that I want you to focus on. Write this down. Strategy of 1. What I'm proposing to you to simplify your strategy for 2021 is having 1 signature online retreat. Thank you, Kelly. 1 signature online retreat. 1 signature program you fill. This is where people really get stuck. Like, I want it, but I'm going to miss out on these people. No, you won't. You're going to be clear. You're going to attract so many more people. 1 signature program you fill. And 1 signature methodology you talk about all the time. 1 signature methodology that is your brand builder. That is what you talk about in your retreats. That's talk about in your program. That's talk about in your live show. You know that that's the serve method for us. Okay. You know what's in it. If you're new, you're going to find out very soon in November 30th when we kick off the next 7-day retreat. But it's for us, it's the serve. Okay. So again, it's a strategy of 1 signature retreat, 1 signature program, and 1 methodology you talk about all the time and you tie everything into, okay? For us, it's serve. It's serving. It's like there's nothing new and profound about it, but you guys know what it stands for, right? It's aligning sales and marketing with purpose, right? As for service. E for evolution, always letting go of the hangups, right? Imposter syndrome, fear, and scarcity being the main 3. R for reverse engineering. We didn't do much of that here, but it's like 3 to 5 calls that we talked about earlier. What does that mean? How many invitations do you have to send? What is going to get you there, right? It's probably going to be sending a certain number of DM, probably somewhere between 30 and 50 DMs to get those consults scheduled, okay? V for virtual scalability. We talk about virtual, having virtual communities, having virtual retreats, having virtual programs, and E for execution, actually doing what you said you would do. We didn't get to touch on that, but I usually make sure when I'm teaching live, I always bring it back. Like everything that we're teaching comes back to serve. So I hope this is making sense for you guys. All right, so I'm going to model by example, and I'm going to extend an invitation in the last 5 minutes. We're gonna jump off in 5 minutes. Before I do, I want to extend an invitation for you guys to join us in a 20 to 30 minute consult with me and my team. And you guys, like when you go to the consult page, I forget what it is. Is it Strategy Conversations? Is it? I think it's bit.ly/strategy conversation. Could somebody put that in a chat, Jay or Selena? So I want to describe to you what it is and what you're going to get out of it so you can decide whether this is the right thing for you to do. So what we're going to talk about is your strategy for 2021. I want you to be really, really clear what that is. What is your signature retreat? What is your program you're going to run? Okay. Even if you think you know, you're running this 3 month or 6 months or whatever. Let us talk to you about it, because sometimes it's a very simple mindset shift. and how you think about your program that is going to allow you to double the price and double the length and close people faster, because there's some way you don't see it. Okay? Be open to the possibility. There is so much more available to you than what you're currently putting, like what you think you can actually make and the number of people you can have, and so on and so forth. We have done this so many times. We have our clients do year-long programs all the time. Okay? We just had a couple people had a $30,000-$50,000 launch, and it is mostly within the mindset and seeing things differently and wrapping their head around how is this going to happen. So on this strategy call, you're going to find the link and put it in. I think it's bit.ly/strategy conversation. Somebody could put in a chat, that would be great. What's going to happen is, number one, we're going to talk about what your signature retreat is, because you're going to use your signature retreat to fill your signature program. Okay. We're going to talk about what it is, what's the theme of it for next year that is going to allow you to fill your program. Okay. And then we're going to tie it to your signature method. So it's like signature method that you're going out there that becomes your brand, whether it be like Kelly's love method or the serve method or whatever it is. We're going to brainstorm how that fits in, and you're going to start building that brand for yourself. And just, and this is going to like be the multiplication effect of it, because like that's what you're going to be known for. And when a repetition creates customers, they have to hear something a minimum of 7 times before it kind of like becomes a thing, right? You guys have heard, some of you have heard about the serve method like a million times, and some of you are new to it and you're going to hear about it a million times. Okay. So your signature method, your signature retreat, and your signature program. So what we're going to talk to you about the strategy. It's going to be, think of it as a blueprint session. We're going to do the math with you. Okay. How many of these do you have to have? How many people registered? What do you need to charge? And what are you, like, you're going to come away seeing things very, very newly. And when you go to that link, I want to walk you through that. I'm going to click this on my screen actually, so that I can walk you through how this works. So when you go into the browser, you're going to type in bit.ly /strategy, all lower caps, conversation. Okay. bit.ly/strategy conversation. I swear for next week, we're going to have like a phone number you can text to. We're going to try a different thing next week that we can test with you guys to sign up. Anyway, so this thing's open. And then on the screen, you're going to see Eva Palakova consult sessions, Jay Owens consult, and Selena consults. Okay. So pick the person you're closest connected to on our team. If you're connected to Selena, schedule a session with Selena. If you're connected to Jay and you feel most comfortable with Jay, both of these girls are amazing and unbelievable. They're high-level business strategists, and they're so, so, so awesome. Okay. And, each of us is very different in our styles. I like to bring in different people. But anyway, go with who you're more comfortable with. Go schedule that session. So when you click on my calendar, for example, and I would love to chat with you, by the way, and I'll tell you what the catch is in a minute. So anyway, so you know what's the expectation and so on. So are you going to set your time zone? And then you're going to see a calendar pulls up. I see that I have a couple sessions. I had one in 1:15 on Wednesday available, and then I have a couple on Thursday available. So there's different time slots, but the only time I'm doing sessions for this is this week. So don't schedule for next week. Okay. Don't schedule for next week because I have something else going on and I would have to cancel and reschedule. So make sure you're scheduling for this Wednesday or this Thursday. And if that doesn't work for you, you can go to Selena or Jay's calendar. Okay. So now this is a strategy call. It's not a pitch sales call. However, if it seems like it could be a good fit for us, and if you want to know more about how we work with people, what we're going to do is extend the session and add an extra 10 minutes at the end. Okay. so that we can have that conversation. We can tell you about our prices, how our program works, and all that. There's absolutely no obligation. I think I just like explained this to you guys, like how we work, how we want you to operate is how we operate. There's no obligation. Okay. We understand that so many of you guys are like really not ready to spend thousands of dollars with us, and that's completely fine. We want to start the relationship on the right foot. We do want to serve you. And some of you guys know, I've had clients come back to me like 2 years later, some of them 3 years later, some of them 3 months later. It is absolutely no obligation to work with us. If we're not going to be offended, we're not going to be upset. We do want to build those relationships with you. We want to serve you. We want to get to know you, and, build that relationship early and, model what we preach. So, but, we're going to come to a point, okay, like, do we need to schedule an extra sales call session? Do you want to hear about how we operate so that you can kind of like, think about it, talk about it, and so on and so forth. So that's kind of the catch. I hope that makes sense. I hope that makes it clear. So I want you to go ahead and schedule it right now. Don't put it off. And what's going to happen, I think you're going to get a couple emails with like additional content we're going to send you. There's like a form because we like to prepare, right? I think, I don't know if those emails were set up, but we want to send you an additional content with some like amazing, like, between now and Wednesday, we want to give you like extra stuff. And there's a form for you to fill out after. It's not like a long form, but honestly, like I like to prepare. I like to know where a person is in, like what field they're in, so I can kind of wrap my head around. The more you tell me, the better, because the more I can wrap my head around, okay, what does this person need, where they're at in terms of their revenue? Because if you're at zero, your strategy to, the first 100K in 6 months, whatever, it's going to be very, very different than if you're at, 60 to 80K and you're trying to grow to $500,000 mark. Okay. So the strategy is going to be very, very different. It's also different. Like, okay, if you already have a community, you have 500 people in, your strategy is going to be like very, like much more aggressive than if you're somebody who's completely new to social media and you have never been live and you need like the initial couple months of your roadmap to be really focusing on, just like practicing your live performance and your leadership and all that, right? And going to Toastmasters and whatever you have. So I hope that makes sense. I really appreciate you guys being here. I feel so blessed and so fortunate. I know for some of you guys are already registered into our Serve Method Profit Lab, which is happening in the Serve group. This time it's a separate group. It's different from It's Her Business. We're simulcasting right now, so you guys are watching it in both groups. We're going to also post a registration link if you're not registered to that. But if you're in the Serve group, you're already registered. You don't have to worry about it. If you're in It's Her Business group, you're watching this in It's Her Business group, you're probably not registered. So you need to go and register if you want to be part of this. We're kicking off on November 30th. I can't wait. We're going to serve you guys. But what this strategy session is also going to do for you, if you're planning on attending that, what it's going to do for you is give you much more clarity and give you a head start. Okay. So there's like, there's an intention in that too. And you're going to come to day one, like far ahead of everybody else. So thank you so much for being here. If you guys are watching the replay, put in #replay. Let me know you were here. I'm so excited to connect with you. I'm so excited to serve you. Everybody have an amazing week. Keep in mind, it's all perfect. However it turns out, love is important. It's all there is and ever will be. And I'm I hope that, everything is well with you and your family this week. It all turns out however you wish it to turn out. And I will see you guys again next Monday on the It's Her Business show.